welcome to Gay Stop Fuses K-pop podcast. Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Benjamin, and as always, I am joined by the Tiffany to my Sooyoung.
Ooh,
Tina.
really? Is Sooyoung your favorite?
I always had a sweet spot for her.
Okay,
I always really liked her, and I think she slayed in this comeback. So we'll get to that soon enough.
Of course, love my girl Tiffany. I'm very happy with that.
I knew you would. I knew you would. So hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to K-Stop.
Yes,
we have
yes.
a super, super freaking packed episode.
It's like really packed.
So really packed. We're going to try to be as succinct as possible.
We are.
You know, get it to our usual hour-ish.
Yes, we'll do our best here. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. And we always love you guys, always leaving us comments. And there was a lot of actually funny comments this past these past days. Like a lot of people just loved Tina's comments in particular. We had I can't find it, but I'm gonna recap. I'm pretty sure
negativity.
Well, no, it was someone. So I think was it Tennessee Appeal was that where this one came from? About someone he had to literally pull over because Tina
that was Paul. I think Paul Peterson.
Oh yes. Sorry, I'm getting my faves mixed
apparently up. I was keeping it real, and apparently he just couldn't handle it, and he had to pull over on the side of the road.
Couldn't handle
tweet us, which I'm glad they left.
Yes,
at least it was left an impact
because of Tina's review of G Friend's latest comeback, and that.
Because I was just so perplexed. I was genuinely confused.
Right. Yeah. That's okay. I mean, well, yeah, and we also got here it is. At Paul Peterson, who hit us up individually on Twitter, who wrote, literally LOL'd so much while driving, I pulled over to tell you, Tina's G-friend shade. Ooh. Saying, I mean, quote, I mean, they're relatively harmless, right? Already had me laughing before that made me stop, but no, G-Friend is not hip hop. So it's true. Tina,
no sir.
Tina nailed it with her review.
Nailed it.
I haven't been able to I haven't been able to listen to the album as much, but I feel like they're doing okay. So yeah. So that was one, and then also we had a good comment from Andy Vovo, who is at ANDIVOVO, who said who hit up Tina specifically and said, the way you said ratchet always makes me giggle. #K-Stop.
Oh, I forgot about that comment.
Don't forget about your favorite word. It's one of your all-time favorite words.
Yes. I think it was in I used it in my review of Monster X with the pink neon sign that said fuck.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's still classy but kind of ratchet, and I
still
kind of love it.
But kind of ratchet.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love something that's slightly ratchet and slightly...
Yeah, you gotta have the best of both.
And then one more take on G-Friend came from at VR Troopers 13. This is Andre Drew, who said, I definitely feel like G-Friend reverted to their earlier songs pre-Fingertip. I don't hate the song, but I don't know. I say that because their debut to Navilera was a progression, and then Fingertip was them as full women, and then they revert back to girls. And that's exactly what I was kind of saying.
That's very true, yeah.
You know, like it's very, we, the water. A lot of people are very impressed with the dancing in water pools.
I did see some commentary about how they were like, oh, they're literally dancing on water, slay, queens, goddesses. I'm just like, no, dude, it looked janky as hell. Anyway, moving on.
So ratchet. Yes, but there we go. So yes, thank you guys for the comments as always. We also asked you guys, of course, to vote on the best releases of the week, and like we said, we talked about G-Friend, we talked about Monster X, we also talked about JJ Project, and coming in at number 1 in terms of K-Stop listeners was Monster X with Newton. 51%.
I can't stop listening to that song.
Really?
I love it.
That was your favorite of last year.
No. I picked JJ Project.
JJ Project.
But
I think I chose
do love that. Well, JJ Project, it's annoying because JYP is not on Spotify. So it's like I can't logistically listen to it as much as I want to because I just don't have iTunes open like that. I actually bought the album.
Oh.
That's how much I love it. I paid money for it. The last album I paid money for on JYP's roster was Day6.
Oh,
So I
you
loved
know
it.
Tina really likes
Oh,
it.
actually, I would like to like retract my statement about how On and On is not a good track on the JJ Project album. That's actually my second favorite track now. I don't know what the hell happened. I think I just like I jumped the gun too quickly, and like I needed like a day or two to really like sometimes you like don't hear what you should be hearing when you're like skimming through an album, So I was too hasty in my judgment.
I started listening to it. I've been traveling a bit. I was at Lollapalooza this past weekend.
Yes,
no K-pop, right. So it was a very K-pop-less weekend. But I started to listen to the album on the plane. Listen to Coming Home. I listened to this On and On, and I liked what I heard. But I still need time. I don't want to say any favorites yet. I still need time. Yes, Monsta X did get first. JJ Project unfortunately did get last place with 5% of the votes. I don't know where these GOT7 fans were, but GFriend put up a pretty good fight. They got 44% of the votes to Monsta X's 51. Okay. And then it's been a great battle, and thank you guys as always. We're seeing awesome numbers and engagement from you guys, so thank you as always. But other than that, I say, let's just get right into this week's episode because we have so much to get through. So, Tina, I'm gonna give it up to you. Who is first on the list?
Let's actually get right into Winner.
Because
I think Winner really kind of surprised everyone with these two new releases.
Once again.
Yeah, and I think like they're really on a roll lately with if y'all remember, Recovered, Really, Really, and what was the other single?
Oh gosh, terrible that we can't
Fire.
Remember.
Something.
Yeah, I feel like it had like another like double name.
Yeah, I forget. But Really, Really was the hit.
Yes, it really was.
I think at least internationally, fans love that song.
Oh, Fool! It was
Fool, right? Yeah. I was like, Fire.
It's like I knew it wasn't that hot.
So they kept going with that tropical pop sound, and infused it into two new songs. One called Island, which seems to, at least from what I've generally picked up, I think people like Island a lot more. Yeah. Or it seems like they talk about it more. But I personally really like Love Me, Love Me. Oh. I think that one's like a little catchier. It's a little groovier. So the two are kind of similar, I will say. I had to listen to both a couple times to kind of differentiate the two a little more.
Yeah.
But like Love Me, I think is a little bit more groovy, dancey. And Island is, I don't know, what's the word?
Well, I think
more edgy sound.
Well, Island kind of plays that tropical house, tropical pop sound a little more. It's much more something you would expect from in that genre of sorts. It kind of reminded me of what Card has been going through. I was about
to say it's kind of like the Card, aesthetic. Yeah,
the Card. Yeah, and I mean that's such a
like where the production is super heavy.
Yeah, and we're fans of that. So I had no problem with it. I think personally I liked Island more as a song because I think I don't know. I felt like the beat was just like a little cleaner, and maybe because it was more expected or more of when I was, it's literally called Island. It's literally tropical.
Right. I like the concept a lot. I liked in the video how they just wanted to get away and like I'll go anywhere with you. We could go to do an island getaway or something. I thought like that was like a really like sexy idea, and I thought it was cool, and I think it all tied in really well. And like the guys were like having so much fun, and
I at first when I saw the video I was like, oh gosh, so typical, like tropical song.
It was very literal. Tropical, I will say.
I was like literally on it, like once again. But I actually the more and more it went on, what I really liked too was when it went to the nighttime scene on the bridge and like they're in the mangroves and like it was just such a cool thing, and they were like almost kissing a girl, but then they kind of pull away the camera, and then they had this moment where the guys are almost kissing, and they just look like they were having so much fun.
Yeah, like despite the fact that it was kind of a typical cliche island theme, getaway theme, I think they weren't corny about it. They looked like they were genuinely having fun.
Yeah, there were so many moments I thought that were a little unexpected.
I loved this. Was it the second verse where Mino is like love handles, like skirt. I was like, my God, that like killed me.
Yeah, and right. There were so many like treats I felt like throughout these like two releases too. As like I
thought Island, the video had a lot of swagger to it. I liked it.
I think I'm and I although I will say getting back to also the Love Me one was that, I thought there were a lot of interesting, if Island was sort of like the fun sort of, getaway video, this one was not unsimilar, but like there was a lot more like subtle, like that one was more fun and playful. This one was like more subtle and cool. Like I almost got the vibe, like there were like those, they almost had like GIFs paired with videos, you know what I mean?
Right. And like they had the emojis happening in the very beginning. We saw the up close shot of the combo, which was in English, which was hilarious. It was like, oh, I'm like, I'm like messing around with these morons right now. And then the girls, and he was texting Bay. Yes. And the girl asked SOS, and they sent each other like emojis. It was really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Sorry.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm looking at a text message.
Thank you
for just hit me up on 5
for
text
approving
messages.
my comment.
Sorry, someone sent me like 5 texts, and I got distracted, and then I was actually responding to them. That's great, but in my head, but I'm looking away now. But no, I mean, what I want to say that the English texts were a significant part to me, because I think that was them like kind of playing a little more internationally and thinking more about fans, which one group we'll talk about in a little bit didn't do, but I'll talk more about that later. But I also got the sense, and I saw this initially from the concept teaser photos, and I loved it when I was seeing it, that they were almost giving like a male Lolita look, for lack of any type of better term, like slightly schoolboy looking with the high socks and everything.
I actually noticed that. It made me a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't like so obvious that I just couldn't watch it, but I definitely got vibes of that.
Yeah, which like I've never really seen.
Yeah,
like,
they definitely,
but it wasn't done in like we're so innocent way. Like they weren't like NCT
that's the thing.
Dream.
They were like innocent, but they had swagger too.
Yeah,
so which really fucked me up. I was like, what?
And like slightly emo. I had so many like conflicting thoughts. I was like, wow, this is so interesting, just even conceptually. And I think it's kind of cool because I thought I was really nervous that, at least with Winter, that we were going to get that really, really and the full song, and that was just sort of going to be, they're going to be like, okay, great, the Winter brand is high again, and we won't see them for another 2 years. But it really seems like they're continuing to do this kind of interesting stuff with them, interesting visuals, interesting music, things that they're like, once again, because we thought really, really in Fool were both like, remember that intense Fool video, like with all the different like scenes and everything?
It got religious.
It got religious. There was so much going on, and once again, it really seems like they're bringing something interesting like to the table. So I was like, okay, Winter.
And it doesn't feel played out yet. I will say after this, they're going to have to do a little something a little bit different.
Yeah. So. And, hopefully we get like a more fuller album of sorts or something, or maybe like a more long-term
They're
release.
doing all like singles, EPs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm not the biggest fan of the double title track, mostly because it means I have to watch something else for K-Stop. Kidding. But no. Like, I just think it kind of, it muddles the message a little bit. Or, people, I think we talked about, not every group can pull off like successful double title tracks.
Right.
So ultimately though, I'm happy. I'm trying to think if there was anything like else, like particularly I really wanted to mention with, did you catch that one moment where like, it was almost like Phallic almost, where he was swinging his
was
shirt
this
tie
in wait which
belt.
Which video was this?
This
Love
was
Me
in,
Love Me
Winter, or sorry, this was in Island.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I don't know, everyone go check
I can't remember which video it was, but there was some like fun like bromance moments where
there was some bromance,
like holding hands with like another member, and it was like pretty goofy.
I loved it looks like they're having fun, and I like it. And you know what it kind of reminded me of, actually? Do you remember 21's Do You Love Me video? It reminded me of that, but I thought done given a little more budget.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that for a lot of 21 stuff. So,
Poor 21.
Poor 21.
We miss you. Yeah. Well, that's Winter. Let us know what you guys think. Don't forget.
I think like it's still definitely not as finesse and elevated as really, because that really was just that was mind blowing. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so unexpected. This is kind of like a continuation of something we saw that was interesting. And I'm glad. And it seems like they're really doing well on the charts. I've been checking.
And they released it just in time before summer kind of closed off. So I think August was still a good moment to release something like that.
I think so too, for sure. So welcome back, winner. You're doing great.
You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. Yes. All right. So yes, what's our next boy band? We have so many boy bands.
Let's switch it up. A rookie group. I didn't think we would actually cover them, but apparently they broke the record, the 24-hour YouTube record for any like rookie K-pop group.
Really?
Is what I think I read on Soompi. So this is the season 2 of Produce 101 or Produce 101, and this is the finalist group, and they are called Wanna One, and the EP is 2B1, right? 2B1. 1 times 1 equals 1. 2B1.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew there was some type of math.
And the
involved.
title, I know. I was like, y'all need to chill with this. I'm already confused.
Tina does not like to do math on
math.
iTunes.
I don't like math. But the title track is called Energetic.
Yes.
And there are 11 members.
Yeah.
Which I'm already stressed out about. I don't know any of their names.
Right, yeah, I did a little research.
We don't keep up with the shows.
Well, yeah, I was particularly curious because I remember a lot of our K-Stop listeners really were into season 1 of Produce 101, and that created IOI, which I became obsessed with. And I've been following Produce 101 enough. I don't really. I think it's really interesting that there were so many kind of how to put this nicely, idols that haven't had their chance to be on the show. Like that there were some groups that just hadn't broken despite even being in the field for 5 years, like Newest from Pledis Entertainment. But yeah, this group just seemed to have so much hype, and it really seems like IOI, I think a lot of fans would agree, wasn't handled the best. There was members leaving in between, debuting with their other groups. It
was kind of messy.
It was, and it seemed like they just didn't know what they had on their hands.
Right.
This time, it feels really well done, really polished, really, really like kind of, it seems like they're really on top of it, and I think that is really well seen in this video and song. I really do. They were, I guess, we're voting between 2 different songs. There was a song "Burn It Up," which was like very EDM, and I was like, I hope they don't choose that one. But it was this one that they chose, "Energetic," and I really like it. I think it. I really like. Just it's subtle, but it's still EDM based. It's still dancey.
Yeah, right.
And there was just so many. Like I just felt like watching that video. I was like, oh my god, there's so many stars in this video. Like so many future stars.
They have some strong faces.
Yeah.
I guess. I will say I enjoyed the song. I didn't think I would like it so much. I thought it was gonna be something very pop generic. I will say for some reason, something about the chorus irks me because it sounds like something I've heard before. But I can't obviously I pinpoint what song it is, but it doesn't sound original to me. It sounds like something I've definitely heard before. But
interesting.
I don't know.
I wonder what it is.
Obviously I don't have anything to back that up because I can't remember the song. But I thought the dancing was dope. I liked the video a lot, actually, except some parts were like a little corny to me when, obviously with a new group, you want to focus on certain members, get like all the members like some shine, and then they're trying to be all like kind of like sultry looking in their faces, but then it just came off as kind of like corny, and I was like, okay, too much. But I liked, the sets. I like the beginning where they had that formation where they were kind of doing a makeshift piano and they're doing piano hands. I thought that was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't really checked it out, but I wonder if they do that in the live
performance. I feel like they should.
Yeah,
that's cute.
Really cool. I love it.
I thought the song really kicked into high gear in the music video as well. Like halfway through the video, I thought I was really getting into it. I thought the sets were cool where they had the neon signs. I was like, this will look great on Instagram. Like,
was that the when the rap starts kicking in?
Yeah. I thought the bridge was super dope.
Yeah, I thought I like the bridge. I think I looked up a couple names just so I can give some shout outs if people have been watching. But yeah, I really liked that first rap section. That was Daniel from
Oh yeah, there are international members, I'm assuming.
Oh, are there?
I don't know.
I have no
Or is he
idea.
just named Daniel for the
His
hell of it?
I really have no idea. Yeah, he was the one who like won #1 or got like first place in the end. So yeah,
and they're all like, generally like around 18, 19.
I think they're yeah, mostly. I think it's just yeah, I think mostly they're younger. Except there's a member of Newest, like I was talking about before,
right.
and he's like 20 something. I'm assuming like 25 or something.
Okay.
He's been an idol since 2012.
Right.
So he was the one kind of from like the old school groups who made it, which was cool.
He must feel like a little out of place.
I know. I wonder, but I think he's got to be happy to like be there, you know, or something like that. So I don't know, but but
yeah, I think it was a pretty polished production overall.
Yeah, no, I think I thought it like did well. I really liked him. I'm trying to find out like what company these people are from, but I can't even find it. Whatever,
so
it doesn't matter.
They are following a similar rollout plan as IOI, where like it's essentially going to end and certain members are going to be doing their own things.
It's going to be, well, what the difference here is that the members they have to spend that year in the group.
Right.
Like they can't go elsewhere, which I think is really interesting because there's so many people who do like have like different, you know, projects going on and stuff like that, but they're really making them like commit to this year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I guess they're going to do like probably at least 3 releases like IOI did. And, you know, but I think they're also starting sooner than IOI did. The show only ended like a month ago.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe they're going to get more. And I think, and they also said they're going to have them touring, at least go to different countries. And I think
they're doing all of that in a year.
Yeah. Well, Wanna is going to be at KCON next week, which
that's true. Yeah.
will be exciting, and we'll talk about that.
I will say the name's a little tragic. 101.
I know. I'm like, but I guess it's so it must be a play on 101 because IOI was a play on 101 and 101.
Oh, right. 101. Yeah.
I was like, what is the 3rd season going to be?
I don't know, man.
It's going to be like,
that's too much.
Uno, Zero, Uno. But no, I thought Min Hyuk from Newest did really well. There was a member, Song Woo, who he shared the chorus with Min Hyuk, which I don't know. I just I saw so many I just felt like I was seeing so many potential stars.
Who's the main rapper who did
Daniel?
Daniel,
I think
right?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, he had like the one. He had like it was kind of in English a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, and like the video was pretty cute. You know, obviously like we were saying, and that scene where they were, you know, spraying each other with the hose was total fan service. So
yeah,
you know, I was just like,
I will say they had some fun scenes in there, like the little like mini races they did.
Yes,
the bathtub of donuts.
I love the bathtub
mad.
of donuts.
The show was mad random, but it was fun.
Yeah, and I like the 1x1 moments.
Oh, against the wall.
That.
Yeah,
it was pretty clever.
They had a lot of interesting like graphic text moments.
Yeah.
That was really dope.
I know, way better than IOI's debut single. So
yeah.
So I'm very
They were
excited.
the guinea pigs for this whole
They
project,
really were.
so.
Poor girls, but I think they're doing fine. I don't know. I'm very excited, very, very curious to see how it does. I think, and like you said, it seems to be getting a great response, and which I think also says, even though the show was in Korea, it's still like doing well internationally because
so,
YouTube is obviously global. So
right.
I don't know. It's so
and
interesting.
Translations are almost immediately done.
Right, exactly. So. That's how I found it. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how 101 does.
101. Oh, let us know your thoughts. #KSAB. We forgot to shout out our Twitter handles.
Yes.
And a hey_Tina with 3 A's.
Me too. I mean, I am also.
Yes, he is also on. That's my handle, Jeff.
That's me too. At Jeff__Benjamin.
Yeah, so hit us up.
Yes. And now we're bringing back a classic K-stop fave.
Yeah.
Despite, it's DAY6 coming back with their
August release.
Their August release
6.
once again.
It's always a pleasant surprise. I always forget that it's happening, and then it's like the 6th or 7th of the month. It's like surprise.
You're like, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they I know, or they always start teasing it right at the end of the month, and I'm always like, oh, it's coming. I was like, it's almost the top of the month. But they got a new single. It's called What Can I Do? The B-side was called Whatever. I haven't listened to that yet. But here they are once again.
They are.
How you feeling about it, Tina?
I don't like it.
Oh boy.
I think it's just I don't like the kind of folksy vibe that
You
they
got
do.
folksy vibe. I got grungier.
But it was like emo folksy.
Yeah, maybe is because this is the song that actually reminds me of something, and I can't remember what it kind of has that like stadium feel, that like that sort of like do 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 do.
And I think it was just a little jarring because the first verse was darker sounding, and then it kind of got into this bouncier chorus. In the chorus, I was like, I can maybe listen to this, but I think overall, people who have listened to, you know, our podcast and like are familiar with our general kind of impression of Day6 songs, I think they can understand why I wouldn't listen to this, because I'm so into songs like You Were Beautiful and Congratulations. They're a bit more like ballad based. I will say I appreciate the video, and I think if it weren't for the video, I wouldn't even listen to this.
Oh, really? Well,
I thought the video was cool.
Explain the video, or can you maybe explain the video to me? Because I don't know if it went over my head or whatever, but I kind of got the sense that like it's like everyone's longing for someone
the same
else.
Girl. I think right. I think I didn't think too much into it. I think it was just all the members were pining for the same girl, but the girl would kind of not really commit to any of the guys.
Yeah. Or it seemed like, was she dating Jay, or was Jay just the one talking to her most? But
I think maybe that might be true, because she was actually, I think Jay was the only one who actually was spending real time with her.
Yeah.
Whereas the other guys would kind of just, you know, check her out at the library, kind of longingly look at her from across the classroom, and then maybe she used to date oh my god, am I blanking on his name? I want to say Young K. Sorry, I was like, I'm not saying Brian. Young K, yeah. So there was that animosity in the hallway a little bit.
I see.
So maybe there's something, you know, with that. And then at the end, when there was that basketball game, and they were all, you know, playing against each other, you know, fighting against each other or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't think too much into it, but I just got the sense that they're singing about this girl who doesn't reciprocate your feelings, and they're not right for you, or she's not right for you, but they still have these intense feelings for her, and they still keep going, and it's obviously detrimental and toxic to themselves, but they can't help it.
Right. I got the sense that she too also didn't know who she wanted, you know.
Right, because she was looking back and, you know, making cute little faces and whatever.
Right, exactly. And then like at the very end, you know, her focus I think was on Young K, but then like the camera kind of blurs it out.
Right.
And there's a new like, you know, so I thought it was just sort of like this idea, and then I kind of took like the album or the song title of What Can I Do, being like, well, they're with someone, or, you know, or we had our past, or
how
whatever it might be.
How do I figure out the situation?
Yeah,
right?
like what can I even do? Like there's nothing, you know, I'm not going to steal another guy's girl or whatever it is, you know. So I think, yeah, it all kind of played into this. Or she's like, I'm dating someone, what can I do, even though I like you, or I'm thinking about you, or whatever it might be. It just seemed like, yeah, a lot of indecision.
And then the youngest member, he is like, this girl and her posse are just like chasing after him with gifts, like actual gifts, trying to, I guess, express how much she likes him, and then he just wouldn't even give her the time of day.
Right. But then it also seemed like there were like they're like the cool guys in school or something, because there were other girls pining after them, you know. Like, do you remember those things where like the girls like follow? I think it was Juan Pill, who, or not Juan Pill, sorry, Dowoon, who gets like,
right, the youngest member. Yeah. She's the girl who has a crush on him, and then she follows him up to the roof,
right?
And he's sitting on the edge of the roof just chilling, and then she tries to hand him a gift, and he just walks away, because maybe my impression of that was, or interpretation is, that he also liked that other girl, that main girl, so he wasn't paying attention to this girl.
Oh yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think
that was kind of a random storyline.
Yeah, no, exactly, because there was like a lot to take in, and so I was kind of like trying to keep all the stories straight and whatnot. But I think ultimately, kind of like it felt very, you know, a theme about indecision, about you know, not knowing which way to go, not knowing which way to take things, etc.
I will say I like that this video probably had the biggest storyline out of all of their videos. They actually had a script written out.
Right.
But of course they still had their stage set up as they always do. But it fit into the story. They were in the school gym or whatever. Yeah. And I like that, you know, they had, it felt like relatable to us, even though it was, you know, not an American school, but we can all relate to, you know, the jocks, like doing their thing. And then it reminded me of like a pep rally. You had the girls with their signs. So I thought, you know, it was a cute video.
Yeah, no, I thought it was done quite well.
And I thought Jay was great.
Yes, he was definitely he was definitely a good, cool guy.
He was very likable in Boy Next Door. Won't Peel surprised me with his acting. I thought he killed the acting.
Yeah, he was definitely, you know, got into that emo side. Yeah, and he did really good. He just seemed very natural at what he was doing. Yeah. So maybe he has
he pulls off the uneasy look very well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I 100% agree. Maybe there's some dramas in their future. We'll see if they're interested in that.
But I peeped the other song. It was okay. I don't know. I think just I'm kind of lukewarm on this month's release.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right. I mean, you know, Day6, they're always going to be really fun and really great. And we enjoy their music and appreciate them. But yeah, if this just wasn't our style, well, we got a new song coming up next month.
I know.
So
we got September, October, November, December.
Yes, exactly. So I still am wondering how this project is going to totally pan out, but we'll see. I'm excited. They haven't disappointed. And, you know, nothing's been late. Everything's come out. So I hope it all works out for them.
Indeed. So what's your pick for this week?
Oof. I mean, I think I might want to go with the Wanna One guys. Really? Just because I just really, you know, I don't know what I was expecting, but in terms of, I was just really liked it, and I thought I really enjoyed what I was seeing. I thought there were so many, you know, potential stars from it. I saw a lot of potential.
A lot of potential. The ceiling is.
Yeah, and you know, I really Winner's a close second, I guess.
I'll have to say I'm gonna have to go with Winner. I think I definitely can see myself, you know, bumping those tracks more than anything else. So but I definitely appreciate 101 and their, you know, introduction to the world. I think it's a very, very solid, you know, first title track, first release for them. So I'm excited to see where it goes from there. Since they have a lot packed in for the next year. So
they do.
We're definitely going to be talking about them more on future episodes.
Yeah, very curious to hear what you guys think too. So we want to know. All righty. Yes. Okay. So yes, of course, let us know. I'm like forgetting how these episodes go. Yes. Let us know what you think.
He's like, what's the next segment?
I was like, and what's now? No, let us know what you guys think. Hashtag KSUB. Leave a comment on fuse.tv. We have a playlist of all the music we talked about coming on the website too. It's all there for you.
Indeed.
So yes, now let's quickly get into our charts section where we're talking about the top 5 K-pop songs on US iTunes right now.
I wonder if Wanna One charted.
Oh, we'll have to see, Tina.
We'll have to see.
Yes, coming in number 5 is Island by Winner.
Island.
Yes, Tina, sing it out. Sing. I need more Tina singing.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, Tropical House making a comeback. It's there. Number 5. Number 4 is We Going Coco Bop. EXO.
Still there.
Still there. Strong. They are. There's a lot of. That's the only one. That's the only holdover from last week. Everything else is fresh.
Interesting.
Number 3 is All Night, All Night, All Night.
That is my song.
By Girls' Generation, which is coming up next. Don't worry,
yes,
everyone. We're talking about
song.
Girls' Generation. Don't worry.
Yeah, people are probably like, they really skipped over Girls' Generation.
They're like, they're going to do them wrong like that. Don't you worry. We're dedicating a whole section to them. Number 2, Energetic by 101.
Look at that.
They seem
over Girls' Generation. Damn.
I know, and their album is outselling Girls' Generation. Now, granted, the album came out like yesterday.
Yeah.
Girls' Generations came out Friday.
But still, that's.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, 10-year veteran versus.
And yeah, right. They're like literally 1-day-old baby.
Wow.
And the number 1, this is a happy surprise. What Can I Do by Day6.
Really?
Yeah, the U.S. loves them. I'll be really surprised to kind of see how this all kind of plays out on the charts, though. Very interesting.
Very.
Yeah. Great charts. There was none of a certain group that is always on this chart, so it's very interesting to see. But yes, thank you guys, and let us know what you are listening to on your playlist. And of course, last but not least, we got to talk about our date. We got to talk about our deep cuts, and that is, of course, we're dedicating this whole deep cut now to none other than Girls' Generation.
Girls' Generation, Sunishide.
Yeah, and not only talking about their new album featuring All Night and
Holiday.
And a new single, Holiday, and all those things. Holiday Night, the 6th Girls' Generation album. But also just our memories of 10 years of GG.
Favorite tracks, maybe.
Favorite tracks, favorite B-sides, favorite moments, favorite whatever we want to do. But I mean, I just kind of want to kick it off right now. And just to place us at least in a timeline, were you around / paying attention when they debuted, when Girls' Generation debuted?
Yes, but I didn't like them when they debuted. I think I was still in that phase where I only fucked with YG artists. I was that like really pretentious YG girl who was like, oh my God, I don't listen to SM artists. I listened to like Shiny for a bit, you know,
right? You like Shiny.
That was like still a little later. When they so like in 2007, I definitely was like very anti-SM. So I didn't like, I was definitely aware they were debuting, but I just like consciously refused to listen to them, which is why I did not actually become a quote unquote fan, or I wouldn't say a fan, but I was like okay with them. I tolerated their music, and I actually wanted to listen to their songs not until like 2009. Girls' Generation, like specific. So do you remember Into the New World? Mm-hmm, yeah. I like Into the New World. Girls' Generation, that song, single is actually like my favorite like original old song from theirs. Oh. I like that more than Into the New World. Really? Girls' Generation is like my song. Yeah, I honestly, I never got into that one, but yeah. So I was kind of curious to at least get like that from point one, because I remember hearing like that. All right, you know, when I was doing kind of like research and whatnot about like Girls' Generation in the past and stuff, like they were kind of like they weren't well received, or they like weren't popular right off the bat. Right, like, they weren't. They were, a lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, are they trying to be like the female Super Junior, like 9 girls in a group, this will never work, you know, all these things. And I was like, what? And I heard they had like what do they call those blackouts, black oceans, you know, there was a lot of like animosity, it seemed like, towards them at first. And then something changed, and I'm gonna guess it had to do probably with G. Yeah, and then, when it became more kind of a big SM production where it's very kind of gimmicky, because at the time they were all about that like repetitive sound, right? You know, so SM or just K-pop in general, you think? I guess maybe in general, but more so SM. Yeah. SM was better at churning out things like that. Yeah, exactly. Because I think 2009, that was the same year of Sorry Sorry, and right around that time, all of that shit came out. Everything was very repetitive, and you know, that was also the time when Wonder Girls were kind of you know, trying to make it happen in the U.S., which kind of left the door open a little bit for Girls' Generation. And, you know. Wait, 07? Wasn't that 09? Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying 07 when they did. I was like, 07, I think they were just like getting started too. Yeah. No. I think they were starting, or they were just starting to like get their like speed, because I remember like I've talked to like, you know, because I find the story so fast. They are so big, obviously, and I just find the story so fascinating because I guess it took them a while to sort of catch on, and you know, I don't think SM was. It was big, obviously, but it wasn't like the humongous thing we knew today. But they still like, you know, it took them. They had Into the New World. They had like Baby, but then they had G, which kind of like changed everything. Right. G was, a lot of people kind of see G as like the first single almost. Like they just kind of like. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people were put on to the Girls' Generation through G, of course, so they kind of just, it's a lot. It's like that happens with like a lot of artists who have that big breakout hit, and then kind of everything that's before that is like forgotten almost. It's kind of I feel like Girls' Generation doesn't even really like pretend Into the New World exists, but they do act like G exists. And you know, I even remember like being in college like at that time, and I remember I had this friend. You know, this is just as I was maybe like
getting into figuring out what K-pop was and just these things, and like he was really obsessed with the G dance video,
right?
And I was like, what is this? I was like, it's strangely addictive, but like I don't get it, you know.
I hated it. I hated it because it was so hypnotizing. I was like, this isn't melodic. This is just fucking annoying. I like refused to listen to it. It really took me like dead ass like a whole year and a half after it was even released to be like, I kind of like this. I don't know what happened.
Well, yeah, and I think that's kind of like the brilliance of it all, right? Is that like somehow this song and for a while, G was the most watched K-pop video on YouTube for a while. Like I think like 75 million views was like its, you know, point that like everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's so huge. That was when like
K-pop started gaining a lot of viral credibility.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because like, I mean, I watched, you know, Big Bang and Rain on YouTube, but that was when YouTube still wasn't as big as it was. So you didn't see the potential of YouTube in boosting K-pop popularity.
100%. Yeah. So like it was kind of like this weird little fact. Like I remember when I wrote, I think it was in 2000. I think it was like, oh my gosh, it was probably like 2011. I wrote Rolling Stones. I remember I wrote my first K-pop piece for Rolling Stone. It was their first K-pop piece too, and like the opening fact was, Girls' Generation's G is the most watched K-pop video on YouTube with 75 million views, and it was like nowadays that's like almost laughable. It's like, you know,
for like viral videos,
yeah,
I guess,
compared to like, you know, Psy or how Big Bang or how so many groups are just gaining, you know, so many so quickly,
right?
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like so interesting that like that was sort of like the 0.0 for them,
right?
And then it only got bigger because you know, I look back on their discography and like they had G and then they had Genie, which I think
I already talked about this. You love Genie. Everyone loves Genie. I like don't like Genie.
I think it's like a perfect pop
like
song.
Even now I'm like, okay, I can listen to it because like, you know, like this kind of goes along with how I'm becoming more open with their music. But like when I first heard Genie, I was like, what the hell is this? This is whack. Yeah.
I think it's such a perfect
So I don't know what
song.
that says about me and my taste in music. I don't know if I'm just accepting my own whackness or it's all whack, or maybe it was never whack. Maybe I was whack at the time. I don't know.
Or maybe all the rest of us are whack.
I don't know. But either way, I like it's crazy how, you know, your music taste can change, just how your taste buds change every few years.
It is true.
So.
I had a dark chocolate Twix over the weekend, and I never thought I would say I prefer it over the regular
really?
chocolate.
Look
but
at
I was
you,
like, wow,
all sophisticated with your dark chocolate.
It's Twix, but sponsored by. This is not sponsored by
You're
Twix.
You're like, let's not get crazy with your 92% dark cacao.
Yeah.
So
I know. I do like dark chocolate.
But you know what? I think what really like. So speaking of moments of Girls' Generation's, you know, discography, was really
that was like the 1, 2, 3
that
punch.
Really like changed things for me because after I realized I really like that song. That song's like repetitive. It's like da, da, da. You know, it's like, but I was like, this is such a fucking bop. And then once I started listening to that more, I guess my ears became more attuned to their music. So then I was like, G's starting to sound good, right?
The wall was broken down.
And then I don't know how you felt about Run Devil Run, but that really fucking like, sorry for all the swearing, but like, I'm just like very emotional right now. But like Run Devil Run, I was like, this is the first time where they're like grown and sexy and not like being all like cutesy, like oppa shit. And like, I was like, damn, like they look like amazing, and the song was like edgy sounding. I thought it was dope.
See, I thought Run Devil Run was going to be the moment that it clicked for you, but that's so interesting that it was O for you.
It was O, yeah.
Despite that literally being like the most cheerleadery.
Yeah, I like loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, it's very bizarre my like relationship with Girls' Generation's music.
You have your progression.
Wait, so what was your song? It was Genie that like got you more into them, or?
Genie like got me to realize like their brilliance, I guess,
or
or like just how like great of pop music they were really making.
Okay.
But like I was really, and then Hoot, like literally.
Oh, Hoot was amazing.
I love Hoot. I know it's kind of like I feel like it's an underrated one.
It was so underrated.
But I remember they performed it
dun,
even
dun,
at
dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, Hoot. They performed it at K-Con when they came in like, what was that, 2010, 2009, something like that.
K-Con?
K-Con.
Oh, no. That was like
When was that? Was that 2000? Oh, sorry.
That was like
Kick On started in
2013 or
2012.
something. Yeah,
So that was like
2013 or
2015,
something,
2014,
13,
13, yeah, something like that. But I remember I was like, oh, I'm so surprised they're playing Hoot. I was like, I didn't even think they liked it. But yeah, that one. And granted, they didn't kind of continue the whole style of the grown and sexy, like
I know
things. But I thought it was still good. I really loved.
Yeah, Run Devil Run, like their outfits were dope for the live performances. Hoot was great. Yeah. I feel like during Run Devil Run and Hoot, that whole era, everyone's hair was like on point. Really? Nothing too crazy. Everyone had like, I guess I personally like just darker hair. I like brunettes and kind of like flowy hair. I don't really like the too crazy. I don't like I love Hyo when she has, caramel brown hair. Right. So when she goes she has had blonde hair for so long, but I don't really like the platinum blonde on most people.
Yeah. I just remember a lot of wigs. Oh wait, Hyoyeon had like a really good hair back then. Yeah. Actually, a lot of that. Wow, yeah, you're right. Everyone was serving.
Everyone was like, it's like silky hair.
Yeah, everyone looks great. Huh?
Like the makeup was like,
not too wild.
Smoky eye look. It was great. It was like glam and edgy.
Right, the pink and like the pink. It looks like this was like this was like one of the first looks where like Girls' Generation looked like the Girls' Generation that like I feel like the world started knowing.
Right.
Yeah, and that was what 2000.
That was like 2009.
Really?
2010.
Wait, Hoot was 2010. So was O. Or sorry, so was Run Devil Run and O. And then in 2011, the Boys happened, which I thought that was like the moment. That was the first comeback where I watched everything. Like I was waiting for the teasers, waiting for like it to like hit on iTunes.
You didn't really like it.
Well, that's. I have like such conflicting feelings. Nowadays, I feel like I like it more, even though, I just remember it like it was blowing my mind at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I really liked their kind of different levels of choreography. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That intro. I thought it was not like anything I'd really seen.
I love that intro. I still love that track.
Yeah, it's so hilarious. I was on the plane. This is such a side random note, but I was talking on the plane. The person I sat next to on the plane, she was like also at Lollapalooza. We were like talking about festivals and stuff. And she's like, oh, are you going to any other festivals this summer? I'm like, well, I'm actually going to LA like literally next week to go to a Korean music festival. Like, she's like, K-pop? I was like, K-pop? She's like, oh yeah. She's like, my favorite song is she's like, it's called like what did she call it? She said, God. We let the boys out. And I'm like, you mean we bring the boys out? Bring the boys out? She's like, yes, that's what it is.
Oh my God.
I was like, wow, you know that song? I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, boy, I just remember.
But she probably listens to the English version.
That's what I think she probably did.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny what people end up catching, But that was like Girls' Generation at that point. They were at the top. They solidified themselves at the top. Mm-hmm. They had the U.S. deal, like the U.S. record deal at the time, right. or they were talking about this. And then the Boys happened in English and Korean. I think eventually a Japanese version came out too. And I remember being like, wow, this is so great. It's like, this is so fun. Oh my gosh, the choreography is huge. These outfits are amazing. But then as I became a more deeper, appreciative, research scholarly K-pop fan, I don't know, the Boys definitely sticks out to me in terms of the Girls' Generation story, like why were they talking about like getting it in and like not that they can't do that, but it just felt so out of place for them,
right?
And granted, I thought they were bringing, and it's also like, the clothes were interesting, but at the same time, like, why were this like princess theme with the doves and the petals?
The more you kind of reanalyzed and went back, certain things just didn't make sense and fit together.
Or it felt like once this has been one critique that we bring up all the time, is that when they were trying to think, when these groups or when these acts start thinking more internationally, when they start thinking about what works in the U.S., lots of times that thing, that change that made them so special gets a little lost. And I thought, and this track was their first time working with Teddy Riley,
who was the big,
the big media played thing, is that he used to work with Michael Jackson, but Teddy Riley hadn't worked in like music in like years.
And he's not he doesn't specialize in bringing international artists over to a U.S. market, and transitioning their sound. I'm pretty sure he's not super familiar with their Korean releases, you know.
And the thing is, like,
and their branding and imagery. So,
right, you know, he was probably just making beats and they heard something and they said, okay, we'll go with this one. But, you know, it's like, and that's the thing is that they got signed because they were so big by doing what they did in Korea and in Japan. You know, at that point they had already like basically owned Japan too. They were doing so well in Japan.
Right.
You know, I feel like we need to take a moment to talk about that Japanese.
I was about to say we need to talk about Paparazzi and how that was freaking flawless.
We do, but let me finish my English point too. Is like it was just like, you know, they were doing, and that was actually also an eye-opening moment for me too when I think about K-pop in the U.S. and, you know, whatever in English-speaking markets, because I'm like, you can't change. Like, people love you. So many people loved Girls' Generation because of who Girls' Generation was, you know,
right.
and then when they sort of changed things up, not that it was a huge departure looks wise, but it didn't fit into the story, and you know, it felt awkward and out of place. And granted, at the time,
it felt like an international attempt, right? Like a reach.
But yeah, but like, you know, like that's the thing is that like, but where was like the pop hooks? Why were they singing Girls' Generation makes you feel the heat? You know, like when did they ever like, you know, chant their names like that?
I think they thought that was Western.
Well, right, exactly. it felt, you know, like why would a new country who's never even heard of Girls' Generation, why would you make that chorus about Girls' Generation? Like, what is Girls' Generation doesn't mean anything in America at that time, at least. It didn't. So why would that be the focus of the chorus? You know, like it meant something in Korea and in Asia and in Japan, you know, but I was just kind of like, this looking back on it, it seems it was slightly misguided.
Okay, that's fair.
That's my general takeaway. And then it just seemed like, you know, there wasn't a willingness to kind of work on either side. You know, I have a feeling the U.S. label is probably putting pressure on them to give them something more hip hop, something more electronic. You know, Girls' Generation was great at bubblegum pop. So what do you do? I just don't know. But I feel like it was a potentially missed opportunity. Even though they got great opportunities, they performed on Letterman. That was so cool. I remember
that. They looked great. It was a little uncomfortable just them being on this old man's show, but
it was weird. That stage was not meant for a 9-member girl group.
And he had no idea what the hell was happening. He was like, they're beautiful. He's just gawking at them.
Yeah, by that point, David Letterman was way out of it. Yeah. But, you know, he had a really cool music producer, I think. But, yeah, like, you know, they did a really cool remix. I liked the remix. But at the same time, you know, it was like months after the single release. Like, what did they think was going to happen by performing on two TV shows and then going back home, you know? It was just like, I think there was so much that they could have done. But
it did feel a little disconnected.
It felt disconnected, and it's so unfortunate because I felt like they were ready for it. You know, it could have been girls. They could have been operating on both sides of the, you know, the globe, and, you know, Wonder Girls. And it's so interesting too. I think about it a lot. Wonder Girls were the only ones who charted in America and did well with a song, but that song was just the English version of a song that was already beloved in Korea and like in Asia. And, like,
nobody. Oh, yeah. Jesus, no.
You know, well, that's what I'm kind of saying is that like that seemed to work. That seemed to at least play better by them doing them. You know, before Wonder Girls changed their image too and tried to grab Akon.
They weren't trying to reinvent themselves anymore.
Right. Yeah. So I think, you know, there's so much to learn from all these. You know, as more and more groups kind of think a little more internationally too. I think like this was a big eye-opening moment. I think too for Girls' Generation too.
Right.
For K-pop.
I think it's so, but like, so piggybacking off of that, I think it's interesting how they had different personas in every country that they promoted in. And like Japan, I feel like they could have easily gone the Kara route where you just get cutesy, and I feel like a lot of females do that in Japan because they like that. They did essentially what I wish they debuted with. They were sleek, they were edgy, they were fierce, they were sexy, and it's like they did all of that while still going for this old Hollywood glamour look that was very feminine for the paparazzi video. And that's still hands down to me it's like one of the best releases they've ever done.
I love that song.
And like it's such a it's so catchy and
it's so good
and not gimmicky at all. And I was like, damn, track. And You a Holic was a great song.
You a Holic was good. I loved them. I loved Bad Girl, which was so not them, but it also somehow worked. It was just a great pop song.
Right.
You know, like
Mr. Taxi was pretty good
Mr. Taxi
too.
was humongous.
The outfits were but it was a little too literal like Taxi, but
it worked for their debut. They needed something to catch your eye. And I love that.
And it fit the Japanese market, I feel like they definitely surprised me for their whole plan for Japan.
Yeah, so, and that was just
and it wasn't just remakes of everything. They did some remakes, which it connects everything a bit more, but
it worked. No, and I thought, I actually prefer the Japanese version of Genie to the Korean version, which is so weird and funny.
Yeah.
But, they redid, some videos and they updated it, they modernized it. They definitely didn't half-ass that attempt in Japan.
Right, yeah.
And that created, I guess it is a different label or maybe a different A&R team working with them, but that produced some of their best pop music, I thought.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my gosh, like that second album has so many fun songs. That third album has so many fun songs. That first album has obviously a ton too. I'm trying to I actually made a list of like my favorite
I feel like I talked about most of them that I liked.
Yeah, or I did just like where is it? My favorite like side deeper cuts, but now I can't find it. But I'll find it eventually. But yeah, no, there's certain songs that come to me like Motorcycle. I think on the third album. Do you ever listen to Karma Butterfly?
No.
It is like
if I did, I just
song.
don't recall the
it's
title.
so good. I absolutely love it. I'll find this list eventually, or I'll post it somewhere or something. The Great Escape was really good.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yes.
I remember they had do you remember they did a bunch of remixes for that first album? Like Steve Aoki made a remix, and the Cataracts did a remix of Bad Girl, and Dev was on it. Like it was so.
The remix game was actually pretty impressive.
It was so good. Yeah. I loved it. I still listen to those songs. Like I don't know. It's just there was so much going for them, and obviously there is still a lot going for them. And, but yeah, that was like a really exciting kind of moment in K-pop and everything. And that was just as things like were just getting started, especially with like Gangnam Style and everything too.
Right. Yeah.
But
that was a moment. Should we talk a little bit about the actual new releases
before
we wrap it up?
Well, I mean, like we could talk about "I Got a Boy," which I
everyone loved that. I didn't love that.
I love it.
It felt messy.
Oh, but I thought it was like
but
loud,
like a good hot mess.
The loud return that they needed. Like I was so in love with it. I'm still in love with it. And then that album was probably one of their best Korean albums. And then Mr. Mister came out, which.
Right. That's okay.
I appreciate it. I think it's an interesting song.
Right.
I don't think it played well with their legacy. I actually wish it just never existed, to be honest, because then they went to Party and Lionheart and You Think and Catch Me If You Can.
I didn't love Lionheart. I didn't like that.
Lionheart grew on me. It was definitely not I got what they were going for with like the 20s, 30s, whatever, whatnot.
I think it was almost a little too conceptual.
Yeah, it's like they really were like,
yeah, and they were like, okay, well, let's all dress in these. It was too costumey, and like I didn't like that.
Yeah, I wish Party came right after I Got a Boy.
Party was good, yeah,
because everyone was paying attention to them at that time, and then Mr. Mister came out, and I remember like everyone talking about MTV was talking about it, whoever was talking about it, and then like but people were like, we don't really know what to say about this song, or like they were like, we thought this was K-pop. It kind of sounds like a Chris Brown B-side or something.
Right,
I appreciate it. I really I love the R&B styling of it, but it definitely did not feel Girls' Generation-y. And then we lost Jessica.
Yeah.
I was waiting for your response for this. I knew it was going to be good.
It was a high point of their career.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean,
sorry, Jessica.
The high point of their career. Oh wow.
Not the high point. I'm saying the higher points. I wasn't mad.
I was mad. I still miss her. I was thinking maybe she'd come back for the 10-year
I mean, I like her solo releases.
You do.
So,
you have been quite.
I'm not like
you've been quite nice to her.
Anti all Jessica material. It's like if girl wants to leave, she can leave.
Right.
which she did. So
she certainly did.
We're all happy.
And they did, they really did, at least in my point, they really proved, like, they did Party, Catch Me If You Can, Lionheart, You Think, all these, like.
Did you like Catch Me If You Can?
No, but they showed that they could dance, and they were like, we're still going to come back.
It was a little messy. Yeah.
It was a little messy. It's not I certainly haven't listened to that song a ton.
Yeah.
But the video is
it ranks
cool.
low.
Yeah. But they are back now. They've been gone for 2 years since that comeback. And it's almost been exactly 2 years. Since that time, we've seen a lot of solos, lots of Taeyeon.
Right, it doesn't feel like they've been
Hyoyeon.
gone that long since we've always had something to appease our Sonia Shide, thirst or whatever.
And it's mostly been Taeyeon, but
mostly, yeah, which we're not mad about because she's
we do
incredible.
love her. But they are now back with the 6th album,
Holiday and All Night.
Holiday and All Night.
Do you like Holiday? Honestly.
So wait, keep me straight. So Holiday was the one on the video where it was like documentary style, right?
No, that's All Night.
Oh. Okay.
So Holiday is the one where it was like it's really perky. They got their little poo poo.
I should probably look at my notes.
Frilly
right?
skirts. I don't know what I just said.
The poo poo. Okay.
I think I meant like poop.
We're
I don't know
struggling.
what
Oh, it's that time. We've just hit an hour, so we're all going crazy.
I'm
now.
like delirious right now. Okay. But they're like, dancing. They have all these different sets, kind of Hollywood looking thing.
Yeah, it's very cutesy. The song honestly didn't. I listened to the songs before I watched the videos, and that song did not stick with me.
I'm just like, really, your 10-year comeback? That's the lead single?
Is it All Night? Is the lead single?
It has like fucking 12 million views.
They must have released it first.
I think they were released it first.
I think All Night is much
All
stronger.
Night is a hit.
Much more them. Holiday, I'm kind of like, what? I was like,
that's what I'm saying. We're like, what?
Yeah, no, I thought so too. It was, and I think
it was so juvenile and basic. It sounded like something they should have released like the first 2 years they were out.
Well, that's the thing too, is that they're women. They're 10 years into their career. We know them. We know they've matured, and then they kind of it was
like
childish.
It was childish.
Girly.
They looked good, and it's still bouncy. Like, I'm not gonna turn it off.
Yeah.
It's just, given this context, this was not it.
Well, that's what was kind of shocking, right? Is that like I thought a lot of the dance moves were like quite corny.
The whole thing was corny.
I didn't really like a lot of what I was seeing from it. The line distribution was good. That's kind of all I got to say.
Line distribution.
It was really good. Everyone got to sing once before the next person got to sing.
Great.
But, I'll give them that. But I just feel like, I'm really, really excited about All Night.
So good.
Just because I love the housey feel to it.
Yes.
It felt like this is what you should have done.
Yes.
It's current, but it felt very Girls' Generation.
Throwback too at the same time.
It had a feel to it that made sense for Girls' Generation, but it also felt like they were progressing them.
Yeah.
So many good looks in like the video. Granted,
Right.
I need to watch the clean version.
That's the documentary. I was like, okay, I don't have time for this. Like,
no, and you know what? Not that like they had to do this for me, but like when you're thinking about a group internationally like this, and they released on a Friday,
they should have subtitled it.
I think they should
right?
have at least had subtitles, or at least had the option for closed captioning.
I mean, like DAY6, their shit's always subtitled.
Yeah, I just don't know
like
if
as
that
soon
was
as it comes out.
a miss from SM, or it's coming or something like that.
Right.
But I was kind of like, because I think we had one of the writers, Bianca at Fuse, she like got on that review right away because I was traveling, and I'm kind of curious. I still need to ask her about it, what she thought about watching a song that's a bop, and then but it keeps getting interrupted by this Korean, and granted to Korean fans that it means a lot, those reflections, and it meant a lot to me too. But I was kind of like, oh man, I really wish there was this was keep going, or at least there were subtitles so I knew what was happening.
Yeah, the clean version definitely is, so much better.
Yeah.
Definitely more cohesive.
Yeah.
Literally more cohesive.
No. And there were so many, there were some really good outfits. There were some really good looks.
They were serving it. They looked great.
Yeah. And I just, and correct me, there were drag queens in it, right? Those were some drag queens. Not just some ladies in crazy makeup. I'm pretty sure there were some awesome drag queens. Like one had some really intense makeup. Okay. And I just love that they had, because that was once again a play to their international fan base, and like kind of like, they're never going to outright be like, or at least, I hope one day they are, but I don't think they were going to be like, this is for the gays.
Right,
But, you
of
know,
course,
I think that was kind of like a nod to, you know, more acceptance, more, you know, things. So I think it was a moment, a significant, go back and check, make sure.
Yeah.
Guys, let me know if those were not
No, I'm
drag
sure
queens.
that's exactly what
and
it was.
I'm not being offensive, or not that being a drag queen is offensive. But yeah, no, there was some cool there were so many good outfits. Soo-young looked great.
Right.
Sunny looked great.
Soo-young had the jumpsuit, right?
Soo-young was serving legs. I loved
yeah.
her looks.
Playing to her strengths.
She really did. Yeah. Tiffany. Why was Tiffany so emo on the phone? What was up with that?
Oh, I
was
don't
that just
know.
her? I thought that was maybe like a miss.
Taeyong's great.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yuna pretty much looks the same all the time. You know, like she doesn't do too crazy with her styling, but she looks good.
You know, when she went blonde for Party, I thought she looked incredible for it. Do you remember that?
I don't know, man.
I loved it.
I don't know. But I like that this was a very like GNO girls' night out song. You know, it's just like it made me want to just like get glammed up and you know, and I love the little breakdown in the bridge. I thought that was dope.
Yeah. The opening beat is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just like gets me like right in that, like, you know, you kind of want to like start like voguing or something.
Oh yeah.
Not that I know how to vogue.
Yeah, this is definitely probably probably the most progressive thing I've heard from them.
I think so. I
it's
mean,
super edgy.
It's not, you know, because kind of and I think, you know, I love songs like I Got a Boy and things that are like experimental, but they're still very pop. This felt like kind of trend driven, progressive in that way. Like Party was not trendy, it was just pop. It was fun. It was very bubblegum. You Think sounded like something that should have been released 2 years prior, you know, from Fifth Harmony or something. No offense, love all those groups, but it just didn't have that freshness to it.
Right. This one's definitely hands down super fresh.
Very fresh.
Yeah, it's just so weird how you got Holiday and then you got All Night, and one's like a total like just misstep, I feel like.
Right. So I don't know. It's like yeah, right. It's like wow, you guys killed it with this one, and this is the other one.
Yeah.
So
but I feel like the general feedback has been All Night is great.
Yes, no, I think so too. And I think yeah, it's I saw like Elle magazine or something like shared, like was talking about Girls' Generation, but they liked Holiday more, and like people were like, this is how you know you don't know, like you don't know K-pop because like you said this
Holiday
one's
is
better.
so generic sounding. It could be anyone singing
right
that.
I saw that. I was like, that's kind of hilarious. But yeah.
All right, Elle, stick to your
Elle magazine.
Fashion,
Holiday Night by Girls' Generation
beauty blogging.
Is definitely one of the best songs of the summer. And I see the first comment is when you try to use K-pop for retweets but don't know what you're talking about.
I know. Word.
Wow. Harshness. Anyway.
Drag them.
I'm sorry. Elle, just call me up. I'll gladly write something for you. Come on. I'm free. I'm open. I'm available. But yeah, did you listen to the album at all?
I did.
I started. I haven't been able to finish, but I really did like the track Fan.
Fan's good. I think that one had a bit more personality to it.
Yeah.
I like the album in general. I think generally I feel like Sonishide, they don't make the best full length albums. It's more like the deep cuts are very forgettable. They're filler tracks.
Or they're one and few. Like sometimes they nail it, and you're like, why the heck?
They're
wasn't
very
that the
inconsistent.
single?
They're very inconsistent.
And then you're like, oh yeah.
But this one I'm like okay with it. I think it's because I like 90s pop ballads, and there's a lot of those on there.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if I'm gonna like it.
Or to me, I feel like it's just very kind of twinkly.
I know. I can already hear it in my head.
You know what I mean? It's nothing. I think it's a personal preference. I also
interesting.
Someone also on Twitter said that it sounded like Taetiso B-sides, like TTS B-sides,
really?
Which like obviously is not a positive thing in that context. But I like TTS.
Yeah,
so.
they've made great albums.
Yeah, I'm like TTS is very poppy, so
yeah.
But yeah, I will say the album skews more slow, twinkly songs, and then Holiday is just fucking random, and All Night is just the gem. So I don't know. The album could be kind of polarizing for you. It's like you love certain things, and other ones are just so forgettable.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
It's not. I mean, for a 10th anniversary album, it doesn't cut it for sure.
It does not.
I don't think it does.
Whoa.
I don't think it does at all.
What if they had only released All Night and that was like?
I would have been fine with that. Being like,
do you
great.
think it would have left a better?
I think so.
Mark on
I think so.
I think so too.
I don't think the album, to be honest, was like necessary.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted an album, and I think just from a business standpoint,
it makes sense.
It makes sense, you know, because you know the fans were gonna like want to celebrate. They're gonna want to mark this point in time. Right. I'm just curious. What do you think is next for them? Do you think they're gonna like wait another 2 years to do it? Are they gonna disband? I don't want to say it out loud, but like, do you think we're gonna just see much more solo stuff and then the occasional comeback?
I think they should all just do their solo things. I think they've given us enough of their lives.
You
like,
think?
I think like
as Girls' Generation,
they're like, I think they're like 20. Like Taeyeon's like 29 now. Like a lot of them are 27, 28. You're moving into your 30s. I don't think you should be in a girl group.
Ooh,
I think you should just do your own thing. Like Taeyong has the potential to be an incredible solo artist to keep going.
No, I think all of them have so much potential.
Yeah,
in their different fields, you know.
They all have their different, you know, it's not knocking on what they've done a lot. Yes. I don't think
we literally just went through everything.
Right. I don't think incredible. They need to keep going.
Right. I mean, they for all the things they've done, it could be a museum, you know, like it could really like be. Right. I would totally go to that museum, by the way. I'll curate it. Let me know. But
I mean, I don't, unless they put out something that's more like all night. But
yeah, well, that's the thing, you know, because I'm thinking of, you're like, oh, 10 years, like, you know, they've given us 10 years, and I'm like, well, Brown Eyed Girls, we talked about it, celebrated 10 years, but Brown Eyed Girls were brought together by choice, or they came together for themselves. I feel like their concepts typically reflect more mature things or more what they're into musically, and like they've also never been on this schedule of like total idols, one album, 2 albums a year. They've been more like an album every 2 or 3 years.
I think they operate more on a more flexible timeline, whereas like an idol schedule is just so exhausting, and
they're in different worlds. And so I kind of wonder too, because you know, this comeback, it's what I wanted, or All Night is what I wanted, but the other one not so much. But yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, what's next for them, and I'm really curious. And I do think, as long, you know, I wouldn't mind the occasional Girls' Generation get together, but I just don't see it. But it very well could happen. I don't see it happening very often, you know.
Oh, if they were to reunite and do a big
or just or to operate in the same way, you know, to come back in another 2 years with the same fun pop that we were.
I think, like, especially when you see the types of material that Taeyeon's putting out, it's not what she does in Girls' Generation. So
same with Tiffany,
right? And it seems like they have their own aesthetic going for them, and you might as well just keep going with that. Before it just starts taking over your life, like, more than it needs to. So.
And is it better to call it quits, you know, when they're kind of like still, you know, at the top?
You definitely don't want to be they're already kind of sliding by the numbers, right? Like this, I don't think this album's selling that well.
I think I'm kind of worried Wanna One is going to beat them, but you know, Girls' Generation used to have like the highest selling album of the year, even
but the thing is, it's
compared
like
to boy bands.
The landscape's a little bit different now,
it's
you know,
very different,
very different. Yeah, so you know, I don't think they really need to. They should just promote this, like maybe. They should do a hits concert where they perform all of their fucking hits.
Ooh, I would like that.
Right? Would that be amazing? If they brought that on a world tour?
A world tour.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It'd be over.
No, it really would. And you know, that's kind of what Girls Aloud did in the UK. Another group that, like, I think it was right at their 10th anniversary. They came back, they put on another song, huge response, did like a hits tour, greatest hits album. And they're like, this is our last show together. And you know, they kind of they went out with a literal bang, you know, instead of all these sad disbandments that we're seeing, you know, why not celebrate, you know, the greatness that you were or that you are. And so I don't know,
I'd be here for
we'll have to see. I'm so curious to see kind of what the next step is for Girls' Generation, because I think for a while everyone was like, yeah, we just want them to come back, you know, and now that they're here, what's next? So I don't know.
Right.
You guys, of course, have some thoughts, I'm sure. So please let us know what you guys think about
favorite Girls' Generation singles, videos, looks,
memories, all of it. Looks, least favorite looks. No, just kidding. Let's keep it positive. And then, let me know just everything. We know whether it's 101, whether it's SNSD, whether it's Winter, whether it's. Who's that other guy we talked to? Oh, DAY6. All those things. We will let you guys go because we have been talking a lot. So, as always, this has been Jeff Benjamin.
And this is Tina.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.